Yeah, guys, what's happening? What's happening? I see the guys coming in. I see everybody coming in. Recording is in progress. I'm just waiting for my screen to share. Just waiting. I'll give it 1 minute, one more minute, for everyone to come in, and we can get started. Um, Let me just get my host within, my co-host within. Uh, I saw you here. Yep, he's here. I just asked you to unmute. Brother man, Prof Zones, what's happening?
What's happening, Tumelo? What's happening? Hey, I'm good, man. How's about you?
I know, I'm good, I'm good. I hope everyone is good. Everyone is good. If you guys enjoyed the markets last week, based off what we said, drop some comments here. Remember, guys, we are open to suggestions. We are open to any chats. But yeah, I hope that you guys are good. Sapo, shout out. Yes, guys. So the 2 minutes has passed. We can get started. I hope you remember that this week
Yep.
you are the one who's opening the floor for us, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it me? Who's opening the floor?
Yeah, technically it should be me because
All
yeah, we
right, all right.
interchange every week.
Yeah. All right. Let's just bring up the chart, the economic calendar breakdown. What are we seeing this week? Is there anything? Is there anything that you're seeing this week as far as our economic calendar is concerned, bro?
This week, not much so, but mainly based off last week's data.
Yes.
I'm basing everything off of last week's data that came out. So basically the bias is kind of the same. So this week, not too much.
Yes. No, on my side, Thursday 1 o'clock. I know that's gonna be quite a big one. Look, Tuesday 6:30. That's way too early for me. Australian dollar. I'm not too interested in it. But Thursday 1 o'clock. I'm expecting to see um some nice moves there on the British pound. So Thursday is really one that I'm looking out for with the MPC votes coming in, the official bank rate. So we can see that the bank rate was kept the same for the US dollar. So I don't see them changing any interest rate so far. And because they're doing that, I think we'll just see a trend continuation on what it was doing. And then Friday, CAD, the unemployment rate change. Again, it's not gonna cause like huge moves across the whole markets, but I do think Canadian dollar than 2:30 on Friday, especially for those who trade fundamentals a lot. But Thursday is the day. Thursday 1 o'clock for me is the day I'm watching quite closely, especially considering the pairs that I trade there. But
Yeah.
I don't think no commentary so far on anything else. So I think I can make you the host so that you can share your screen. Are you good with that?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right,
good with that. We can get it started.
all right. And I just so happen to be recording this week, like I should have last week.
Hey, perfect timing, perfect timing. Hey. But yeah, okay, let me get my annotations up so that I don't waste any time. And boom. Okay, I won't start on gold. Now I'll just end on gold. But yeah, guys, for those who are new, my name is Prof. Zones, and Prof is not for professor, but for profits. So do not think I am a professor. So yeah, with that said and gotten out the way, let us get into odd USD, guys. I'm going to share some SMC terminologies with you. So if you do not understand, just head up to Ground Up Capital on YouTube so that you can actually familiarize yourself with what I'm saying. But with that said, as we can see, guys, the momentum is very weak, guys. I mean, the Bears are losing steam. They have been playing at this level for quite some time, guys. So please keep that in mind. For 2 years, we have been playing at that same level, and we do not want to break that level, right? So that's the monthly time frame. So keep in mind why the Bulls might be very strong very soon. So yeah, heading into this week, weekly time frame, so that you guys can have a bigger perspective. As you can see, guys, we are still reacting off of this demand zone right here. And we reacted and we pushed all the way up. And the momentum that we are pushing up with, guys, it's quite a lot. It's quite a lot because week after week, we have been closing higher. So even this week, if we close higher, it means we will still go higher, chasing this buy side liquidity over here. So with that said, the bulls are very, 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 very strong, guys. They're very strong on odd USD. And as you saw the NFP last week coming out weak on the dollar, so it's inversely correlated with odd USD. So yeah, it makes sense for odd USD to be strong because the DXY is very weak. So the dollar is very weak. So with that said, guys, my bias is bulls. Now let me move on to smaller time frames like the H4 so that you can understand my points of interest. So yeah, I'm on the H4 time frame now. And as you can see, we have reached the zone that we were speaking about last week. And we're busy teka-taking, playing around that zone, you know? There's a lot going on at that zone. The market is basically still deciding on where it's going to go. Now, when we look below, we can easily tell that there's a fair value gap resting right here. And then there's another one resting right here. So I love it when there's two. I will not count the one that is below here simply because we've already marked that demand zone on the higher time frames. So I'll just focus on these two for now. So do not be surprised when the market will want to pull back into this zone right here or this zone right here. Now, you already know what you need to look for if the market comes to this zone is a change of character to the upside on lower time frames. Same thing with this zone right here. So basically, I am expecting a pullback, but that pullback, we're just going to be selling to officially buy this market, seeing that the bulls are still in charge on higher time frames, and whatever happens with the news might easily just continue to shoot it back up. So yeah, the last time frame I'll actually talk about is the hour. As you can see, we're basically consolidating, guys, and we call this accumulation and smart money. So this is all accumulation. The market is not doing anything. Today, it hasn't been doing anything. This high is very much protected, and this low is very much protected. So this is our liquidity zones. Up here, buy side liquidity. Down here, sell side liquidity. So all we're looking for is the market to grab this liquidity, tap into this fair value that we've marked right here, give us some change of characters to the upside so that we can buy. But if it doesn't give us change of characters, it'll give us break of structures, and then we sell that market into these zones right here before we can officially look to take it up. So that's what I have on odd USD. We are going to be selling to buy this market. And on USD CAD, it's basically the opposite. As you can see, guys, this is the monthly time frame, and we are on a beautiful, beautiful supply zone. Some can call it resistance, right? On the monthly, on the weekly as well. So you know what happens when price taps into these type of zones. Of course, sellers are going to want to take charge of the market and push it down to a specific level. But the daily is giving us a way more clear level, because even if when you look at the DXY, it's the same thing as USD CAD. So we have tapped into this fair value gap almost fully, right? But the market is still very much bearish. So Friday's pin bar is really not saying much, because today is still bearish. As you know, a pin bar is very, very, very good only when the next day will close bullish. So bullish pin bar led by another bullish candle, then we know we're going up. But as you can see, Monday will probably close bearish. And that is telling us a lot, that the bears are in charge and the bulls are very weak. So with that said, look for selling opportunities. But on the hourly time frame, the market might want to still buy just a little bit so that they can find a better price. And I'm looking at these zones right here. these zones right here are very, very good. And if I don't get my change of characters at these zones, then of course I'll be looking for price to sweep that liquidity up here before I get my change of characters, and then I sell all the way to this low right here, right? As you can see, guys, we've been forming lower lows and lower lows and lower lows. While people are buying this market, each week we form lower lows, meaning the bears are still in charge. So in USD CAD, the bears are still in charge up until they reach that zone that we talked about last week, which is here, right? So I still have the same bias as last week. Now moving on to my last pair, which is gold. As I said, guys, that this level, which is 2,350, has been holding for quite some time now, right? So the market doesn't want to close above that. But when it does, which level are we looking at? When it does, so it's the same bias that I said last week. As soon as the market closes above this level, guys, you can easily buy the market into this level right here, which is an easy 250 pips. Why am I saying that? It's because this was our first fair value gap. This right here was our first fair value gap. And the market respected that and then created a lower low. So what is that saying? That's saying that the bears are still in charge. So all the market is doing now is basically just taking up some liquidity to confuse some buyers so that they can buy early, just so that they can sell into their stop losses and then push all the way down, right? So the only thing that might hinder that is maybe if there's any fundamental news that will be very, very, very daunting to the dollar, right? But since we're looking at that bias on USD CAD, on gold, we're still looking for pairs, right? So I'll end up with this. As you can see on the daily on gold, this fair value gap here is still not fully filled. So if they close above 2,350, we already know where they're going, into this fair value gap right here. That's where they're going if they close above 2,350. But if they still respect that, we will keep getting breaks of structure to the downside and looking for opportunities to sell and sell this market. So yeah, guys, basically that is what I have for you today. So just a quick little recap. So gold, we're still looking for sales, but just be careful for any buys that might take place. And if you know some SMC, you can actually ride the wave a little bit up, but be careful of 2,350, guys. And then USD CAD, we're looking for sales up until we reach this zone right here, which is our nice order block. And then for AUD USD, we're looking for the market to just retrace a little bit so that we can officially buy it up all the way into this liquidity. Let me just mark it. As I said last week, this liquidity right here. So yeah, guys, that is it on my side.
Away. Thank you. Thank you. Let me just reclaim host there, share my screen, bring up my charts. And thank you so much for breaking down the terminology. I'm still waiting for my screen to share. Yes, guys. As Prof. Zone mentioned, he does break down his terminology there on just clear my charts there on his YouTube channel. So if there are stuff or there's some stuff that he mentions that you're not too sure of, such as fair value gap, I think you do also discuss accumulation and what goes on during accumulation. Am I correct?
Yes. And I just dropped part 2 hours ago. So yeah, people could check that out just for more terminologies.
All right. No, let me just get into it. So, guys, we are seeing we're looking at GBP USD right now, and just looking at from the weekly look. I always tell people that what happened last week is a big indication of what might happen this week, but also do look at how structure is currently moving. So last week was a long week, a bio week, and pretty much I've been expecting. All right, I'll answer that question. Odd cash rate. I'm not really looking at the odd cash rate. Like I said, the news I'm more interested in is Thursday at 1 o'clock from the British pound, and also Friday cat unemployment. but I don't think I'll be in the CAD unemployment. But the GBP news that's coming out, I'll probably be involved in. But anyway, as discussed last week, I did see a move to the upside, which we ended up seeing that, and the dollar was quite bearish. So if we can actually look at also Euro GBP, as I was saying, I was expecting them to be strong. But last week they didn't end up giving the bulls, and I was in a bit of a tricky situation because of that. But this morning they gave us bulls. So just looking at GBP USD, it is still on a buy. You guys know I use the 13 moving average in order to determine short-term trends, and it really gave us that. So I just want to look at zones in which the market might buy into, and I just want to mark them with the Fibonacci tool over here, which that is quite an interesting zone because it was once a high of the week, and then we did have a couple of play till there. So what I'm expecting market to do over the next couple of days is to have a bit of a retracement. Probably what they'll do is come down to, let me indicate this, is come down to around about this area over here, this area over here, or just slightly break it, so that what can happen is the people that want to buy just move them out a little bit before going on for a buy. But then I do see the buy, because we have been creating higher highs. And this morning, when we started, we did see a lot of bullish momentum. But I am expecting a bit of a pullback again. I just want to bring up the Fibonacci's as I did. Probably the safest pullback would be to the 382 retracement around there. So this would be, let me just come down to a 1 hour chart. This would be Friday's low. So Friday's low, I expect them to play around Friday's low. So let me just bring up my annotation tool. I expect to see them do this, have play here. And if I see any bullish candlestick, especially if I see two bulls after reaching this zone, if I see 2 hours of bulls going to the upside, then I'll prefer to find myself on the upside. But if that doesn't happen and we end up, can I just bring up my Fibonacci's again? I go to the 4 hour, bring up my Fibonacci's again. If that doesn't happen, then I'll again wait for them to come to this level. Let me just bring up my shapes. Right, is to come to this area over here before going in long. So those are the two areas that I'm waiting for. But overall, I am looking for a long pound. And then should we have a long pound and should we see buyer movement up there, where I will be buying to, I'll just give you the two zones I'll be buying to. The first zone being 126,300, and the second zone being 1.26700. And then those are the two zones that I would expect to see the market move up into. And after that, that's when I will wait to see what market does then, how it really behaves at those prices, because we can see that these were significant levels, especially this one. Let me just delete the one that I don't see as a significant. It is still significant, but it isn't so important to me, and that would be this level over here, which is the 1.26700 sort of price. So that's what I'm expecting to see. I'm expecting to see market create a little bit of a pullback to find support where there was prior resistance, and then have us move to the upside. So let me just draw that in with my annotation tool, either here and move to the upside, or let me just change color. make it a blue, or I see market coming down here again before moving to the upside. Because as I said, that the pound has been on a bullish trend, so I'm expecting, and normally this is what happens when interest rates remain the same within a country. The currency will tend to move in the trend that it was moving in prior. So the
Yeah.
dollar was starting to lose strength, and even though the interest rate from the dollars didn't get changed, the federal rate with FOMC, it continued being weak, and we could also see the same thing with the dollar being weak. So I'm expecting to see a little bit of bears on the dollar, meaning GBP USD. I'm looking to be bullish. And then coming to Euro JPY and GBP JPY, as explained, the dead cat bounce. Remember last week that I said that we will see a bit of a dead cat bounce because we had a
Mm-hmm.
sharp sell to the downside, and they came back. Like I said, that expect a pullback, and around this area, then they really shut down and came back again and gave us the third bounce coming here, but not really breaking down to the downside, because again, if we can see this area over here, let me just bring in my shapes. This area over here was the high of last year, was last year's highest point. So remember, previous support becomes new resistance. Come to a daily, previous support or previous resistance becomes new support. So market has come. They've shown us that they have broken that level, breaking above and closing above. So they're coming down and coming up here. So with when it comes to the euro yen, which we'll see the same thing as happening in Japanese yen, I'm expecting to see them create a bit more upside movement. But when being a buyer, I would buy back to this high that they created. Let me just bring up my shapes. Back to this high that was created over here. So as I explained, that move was a bit of a correction that we were looking at, right? Let me just delete this. That move, this whole move down, this sharp move down, come up, as I said, and then move down has been a correction. And now what I do anticipate is seeing just market continue to go to the upside, back into the zone before they corrected. So in the case of Euro GBP, it will be your 170.700. 170.700. So I do expect to see that move coming in, especially when now there's fundamental moves in play. We should see that happening quicker, and that's the same thing on the dollar. Let me just remove all my drawings and have a clean thing. It's the same thing that I expect from the dollar. We broke the high last year, barely just tapping into that high, right? But because we are expecting to see a bit of a weak dollar, as that's the sentiment that we're looking at. I am not expecting for them to continue buying like as on the Euro JPY, but I think that they're gonna come down here, play here, all right, create a bit of a play to the downside, all right, create a bit of a play to the downside. Can I just come back to the weekly? Create a bit of a play to the downside to around about this level over here. Let's just see that that level over there. I do think that they'll come down to about like a 150 where the market had consolidated. I'm expecting them to come down into this sort of range where the market had been consolidating for. So being your 150, between 150,700 and 151 800. I'm expecting to see them coming between this zone, and that's where we'll then further decide whether we're going up or we're going down. So the movement for this week, I am expecting a bit of bears, but overall the trend is still for me bullish. As I can say, you can see that we broke 2-year highs. As mentioned last week, that we were at a 33-year high. So us breaking those levels really shows you that we can expect to see a bit of a weaker movement from the USD JPY. And that is what I see for the week, guys. Thank you for coming through. We're always breaking it down, and especially if you guys are also in the week doing your own bit of research hustle, looking at the market, being active. You can find what we are saying is useful. And as I said, that if you guys do have any suggestions, Prof Zone and myself, we're really interested in it. I know one of the things is having indices come in, so like Nasdaq and US 30. So we are scouting
Mm,
for someone who is good at that. We'd rather call somebody who's really good at that to come in than just do it ourselves, or get in anyone who will
yeah.
just talk about like a chart and whatever. And we can't just trust anyone, because these Nasdaq guys tell you we win 100% of the rates until you subscribe to the signals, and then it's not 100% anymore. But that is politics for another time. But yeah, guys, shout out, happy trading, be responsible when trading. And one of these weeks to come, I think one thing that we should really get into is money management. Is execution and money management, because I feel a lot of people, we chopping CPI on Wednesday. There's no CPI on Wednesday. The only major news that's coming out this week is on Thursday at 1 o'clock, and also Friday 2:30 from the Canadian dollar. So there isn't thing. Why are currency spreads high today? So normally higher spreads are caused by a lack of liquidity in the market. So when there isn't a lot of participants in the markets, then spreads can tend to be a little bit higher. On my side, I haven't experienced that, so I'm not too sure. I don't know. You, Prof, do you feel like spreads were higher today?
Nah, nah, the brokers that I'm using, everything's still the same.
Everything is still the same. So I don't know what you trading there for spreads
Oh,
to be high. But I
yeah.
guess you can pop me in a message privately, and then we can discuss that. See what broker you're using, what's the account type, so on and so
Mm,
forth. And those are also other things, like you guys knowing spreads and whatnot, because sometimes you find you use somebody's link to trade, and you find that particular broker allows for a certain person's client like has higher spread than what they actually
yeah.
have. But that's like a whole other chat to have. And I know people think, it's a no, no, guys, it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes IPs can negotiate better spreads for you, which I have in the past, just so that clients are in even better trading conditions. Prof, there's a
Mm.
there's a question there for you.
Um,
What broker are you
what
using?
broke? RSCG markets. And there's a couple of prop firm brokers because prop firms use different brokers, so it differs. But yeah, I'd say either in prop firms, RCG, I'd say RCG all the way. And if you want an international broker, maybe just go to IC markets. But yeah,
Yeah, I see. That's clean.
yeah, because yeah, but I don't know why people are scared of some local brokers because some are actually legit, if you do your research properly.
If you do your research, but I feel like that's another chat for another day to break it down
Exactly.
and correct misconceptions that people have, because sometimes also as IPs, we don't like to take responsibility when we made clients lose funds, we don't take responsibility. We say the broker manipulated, and that time the broker didn't do such a thing.
They
But
didn't. Mm.
yeah, but people are trying to save themselves. But those are other controversies for another day. Market Monday, Monday market mapping. It's all about breaking down the markets so that you guys can have a proper thing. But shout out
Yep.
everyone! Shout out! Text me personally with those questions. Every other question, guys, will take it personally. Happy trading, trade responsibly.
Danko.
Danko is Danko Bafej.